Well, only 17 years removed from Soviet control, Ukraine is trying to become a player on the world stage. Known for decades as the breadbasket of Europe, the raw materials are there. Last year, a group of American farmers and businessmen traveled to the Ukraine as part of the Frontier Study Tour hosted by our partners at Top Producer Magazine and sponsored by the United Soybean Board, a fact-finding mission to look at Ukraine's potential. This morning, part 2 of our special series of reports looks at how Ukraine agriculture stands to explode onto the world ag stage. Unlike Western Europe, where small acreage farms are common practice, farms in the Ukraine consist of thousands of acres of continuous production land. One thing the farmers and businessmen on the Frontier Tour noticed right away, the richness of the soil.
Oh, baby, this is good stuff. There's no doubt. They say up to 6 feet of black dirt, and coming from northeast Iowa, what really impresses me is that there's no rock.
But what's your impression of this soil? Do you wish you had something like this in Nebraska?
Oh yeah, this is beautiful soil. Deep, black, flat. I think they said some places the topsoil is 60 inches thick.
That fertile soil helped Ukraine achieve the nickname of the breadbasket of Europe. And while envious of the soil, the American tourists also grimaced at poor agronomic mistakes that could easily be fixed.
First of all, they're using extremely small trucks to remove, get the grain away from the combines. And another thing is the combines, they'll actually just stop to unload. In the United States, you never see anybody stop a combine. They unload on the go and try to keep moving. Western technology is common on Ukraine's larger farms. American names like Deere and Case can be seen. But like a cultural tug of war, the American producers saw throwbacks to previous generations.
There's some very good technology that people are using, and then on the other hand, we'll look across the road and there isn't, they're back 100 years.
The farmers say that's a prime example of how far Ukraine must go to achieve U.S.-style efficiency. Others on the tour see the growing dairy and livestock trade as a potential market for U.S. soybean growers because of the European Union's resistance to seed technology.
There's a high demand for meal and oil here, and a great need for it, and especially in their future. If they are not accepted of the GMO, they're going to need a source of feed for their animals.
While the tour bus bumped along rough, bone-jarring country roads, the group was impressed with the network of Soviet-made highways, railroads, and seagoing ports, which could quickly get Ukraine farm products into EU markets. That potential makes it easy for comparisons to Brazil.
When I was in Brazil, they still didn't have the infrastructure anywhere comparable to what's here. They didn't have anywhere as productive of soils as a lot of Ukraine. I think Ukraine has tremendous advantages at this stage over where Brazil was in 1990. They can develop much quicker if the needed capital and investment becomes available.
What have we got here in Ukraine? We've got the roads, we've got the train tracks, we've got the infrastructure, we've got the nearest market is less than 1,000 miles away in Russia, and they're fairly close to Europe. Brazil's got to go halfway around the world, and yet I'd be putting my money on Brazil. I think that the problem that's holding back the Ukraine is the work ethic, how it got smothered over 60 years of socialism, of communism.